Your cat drinks from the same bowl every single day. You fill it, you walk away, you don't think about it again until it's empty. But that bowl sitting in the corner of your kitchen might be one of the most dangerous objects in your entire house, and almost nobody realizes it until their cat gets sick. Let's start with what actually happens to water the moment it sits still. The second water stops moving, it starts changing. Bacteria that were harmless in tiny numbers begin multiplying every 20 minutes. That means a bowl of water that was perfectly clean in the morning can have millions of times more bacteria in it by the time your cat drinks from it at night. You can't see this happening. The water looks exactly the same. Clear, calm, totally normal. But underneath the surface, it's turning into something closer to a petri dish than a drink. Now here's where it gets worse. Cats are naturally drawn to drink less water than dogs. This goes back to their ancestry as desert animals that got most of their hydration from prey. Because of this, a lot of cats already drink less than they should, which means whatever they do drink matters even more. If that small amount of water they're taking in is contaminated, the impact on their body is bigger, faster. So what exactly is growing in that bowl? The most common thing is biofilm. This is a slimy layer you might have noticed building up on the sides or bottom of the bowl, especially plastic ones. Biofilm is actually a colony of bacteria that have banded together and coated themselves in a protective layer. It's incredibly hard to wash off with just water, which is why so many cat owners think they're cleaning the bowl when they're really just rinsing the surface while leaving the colony underneath completely intact. This biofilm isn't just gross, it's a breeding ground for bacteria like Pseudomonas and Staphylococcus. In healthy adult cats, small exposure might not cause an obvious problem. But in kittens, senior cats, or cats with weaker immune systems, this bacteria can cause vomiting, diarrhea, and in more serious cases, urinary tract infections. Yes, urinary tract infections. Vets have linked poor water hygiene to increased UTI risk in cats because bacteria from a dirty bowl doesn't just stay in the mouth and stomach, it can affect the whole system over time. Then there's the bowl material itself. Plastic bowls are the most common choice in most homes because they're cheap and they don't break. But plastic is porous at a microscopic level. Over time, scratches form from feeding, from cat teeth, from cleaning with rough sponges. Bacteria settles into these tiny scratches and becomes almost impossible to fully remove, even with soap. This is also the reason so many cats develop something called feline chin acne, small black bumps or blackheads around the chin. Vets frequently trace this back to plastic bowls harboring bacteria that irritates the skin every time the cat's face touches the surface. Now let's talk about standing water outside, because a lot of cat owners with outdoor access or cats that roam think a natural puddle or an old bucket collecting rainwater is a harmless backup water source. It is not. Standing water outdoors is one of the easiest ways for a cat to pick up parasites like Giardia. This is a microscopic organism that lives in contaminated water and causes severe digestive issues, weight loss, and dehydration in cats. It spreads through what's called the fecal-oral route, meaning if any wildlife, rodents, or other animals have been near that water source, the risk of contamination goes up dramatically. A cat drinking from a stagnant puddle in the backyard could be exposing itself to the exact same organism responsible for some of the worst waterborne illnesses in animals. There's also the algae problem. If a water bowl or outdoor water source sits in a sunny spot for even a few days, algae can begin to grow, especially in warmer months. Some algae types produce toxins that are genuinely dangerous if ingested in large enough amounts. While an occasional lick from a slightly algae-covered bowl won't necessarily be catastrophic, repeated exposure adds up, and certain toxic algae blooms have caused documented cases of illness and even death in pets that consumed contaminated water regularly. So what's actually happening inside a cat's body when they're repeatedly drinking from contaminated water? It starts small. Mild stomach upset, maybe some diarrhea that owners write off as a food sensitivity. Then it can progress to more frequent vomiting, lethargy, and reduced appetite because the body is constantly fighting off bacteria instead of functioning normally. In more severe or prolonged cases, especially with parasites like Giardia, cats can experience serious dehydration and significant weight loss, which is especially dangerous in kittens and senior cats who don't have much reserve to lose. Here's the part that really gets people. Most cat owners are washing the bowl, they're just not washing it correctly, and they're not washing it often enough. Rinsing with water alone does almost nothing against biofilm. It needs to actually be scrubbed with soap and hot water, ideally daily, and the bowl material matters just as much as the cleaning schedule. So here's what this actually means for you. That bowl sitting in the corner of your kitchen isn't dangerous because your cat is unlucky or because you're a bad owner. It's dangerous because water hygiene for pets is something almost nobody talks about, and almost nobody was ever taught to think about. The threat isn't dramatic or obvious. It's quiet, it's invisible, and it builds up slowly enough that most owners never even connect the dots between the bowl and the symptoms. If there's one thing to take from this, it's simple. Wash the bowl daily with actual soap, not just water. Switch to stainless steel or ceramic if you're currently using plastic. And if your cat has any outdoor access, keep an eye on any standing water they might have access to, because that puddle in the yard could be doing far more damage than it looks like. Your cat trusts that bowl completely. They don't know to question what's in it.
That part is on us.